Hello everyone, I'm Qianxin. Welcome to Talk About History. Please subscribe, like, comment, and share with your friends. Also, remember to turn on the notification bell. Thank you. Today's historical discussion is about the immortal HeLa cells. Immortality has always been the ultimate goal throughout human history, from emperors and generals to alchemists and sorcerers. But has anyone truly succeeded? Apart from legends, no one has achieved it, right? However, today, I want to talk not about people, but about the history of cells obtaining immortality. It all started with a newspaper headline in 2010. Cancer cells killed Henrietta Lacks, 1920-1951, but also made her immortal. Strictly speaking, Henrietta Lacks didn't achieve immortality. It was her cancer cells. Henrietta lived in an era where cancer was a dreaded word. At that time, medical treatments for cancer were scarce, and it was often kept secret when friends or family members had cancer. Medical researchers were striving to find ways to treat cancer, facing the major obstacle of not being able to culture cells outside the human body or conduct various experiments. Through a dramatic process, scientific research finally broke through this bottleneck, ushering in a new era of cell research, known as the HeLa cells. Scientist George Gay successfully cultured cervical cancer cells from Henrietta Lacks in Petri dishes and provided these cells and cultivation methods to researchers worldwide. These cells were named HeLa cells, derived from the abbreviation of Henrietta Lacks' name. Before this breakthrough, cells cultured outside the human body could only survive for a few days at most. But HeLa cells exhibited immense vitality in artificial culture conditions, replicating in just over 20 hours. As long as the conditions were suitable, they could proliferate indefinitely. Due to the robust vitality of HeLa cells, scientists discovered in the 1960s that they could even contaminate other cell cultures in the laboratory. According to renowned gynecologist Howard Jones, 1910, who described the cancerous tumor seen on Henrietta Lacks as unprecedented. It was purple in color, prone to bleeding upon touch, and grew rapidly. "I had never seen such a tumor before, and I have never seen one since," he remarked, "truly one of a kind." After the successful cultivation of HeLa cells, various scientific studies, ranging from imaginable to nearly science fiction, used these cells for experimentation. This included exposing the cells to various toxins to understand their reactions and even sending the cells to space to observe the effects of zero gravity on human cells. Even the completion of the polio vaccine relied on HeLa cells. Even in the medical field, HeLa cells were not recognized until a certain event exposed the truth. First, one must understand Henrietta Lacks, who was of white landowner and black slave descent and was raised by her grandfather in slave quarters since childhood. Before giving birth to her fifth child, she told her family that she felt something inside her, but her family and doctors doubted her claims. We need to understand that the limit of cell division is also known as 56 times, which is the Hayflick limit. Each division consumes the telomeres of DNA, until they are completely consumed, leading to cell death. This is also the reason for human aging and death. However, unlike normal cells, HeLa cells or cancer cells can replenish their telomeres with telomerase during division, which is the breakthrough for surpassing the limit of cell division. HeLa cells can live indefinitely, providing the best experimental subjects for all cellular experiments. Even virus research is conducted using HeLa cells. The first application of HeLa cells was in the development and testing of the polio vaccine, one of the greatest killers of children in the 20th century. With the help of HeLa cells, Dr. Jonas Salk finally developed the vaccine in 1954. Due to this research, the first cell factory in the world, the Tuskegee Institute Cell Sales Center, was established, capable of producing 20,000 vials per week, equivalent to 600 million HeLa cells. This is truly remarkable. For decades, HeLa cells have been used in virus research, including HIV, for drug development and testing, contributing significantly to the rise of virology. In 1965, Henry Harris and John Watkins successfully completed experiments on gene mapping of specific chromosomes by combining mouse embryonic cells with HeLa cells, initiating the Human Genome Project. To date, HeLa cells have undergone over 18,000 generations of division, roughly equivalent to 450,000 years of human evolution from primates to Homo sapiens. Even research on immortality using HeLa cells has been ongoing, although it's not widely reported due to its sensitive nature. Returning to the present, the reason HeLa cells are highly valued is because medical institutions profit greatly from their use, yet the family of Henrietta Lacks remains impoverished. As stated by Lacks' daughter, "I always found it strange that if my mother's cells contributed so significantly to medicine, why did her family not have money for healthcare? It's perplexing. Many people have become wealthy because of my mother, and yet we knew nothing about them taking her cells. Now we have nothing. I used to get so angry about this. I was really furious, to the point of falling ill and needing medication." More than half a century after Lacks' passing, the scientific community has finally acknowledged the issue. Johns Hopkins University and Lacks' family formed a committee to jointly decide how HeLa cells should be used and by whom. When researchers first showed Lacks' daughter the HeLa cells in the laboratory at Johns Hopkins University, she looked at the frozen vials and said, "I can't believe these are my mother." She blew air towards the test tubes and said, "You're cold. You're famous." One could speculate that if Lacks were a middle-class white woman, the exciting scientific developments might not have occurred, as she likely would have been in a different ward, possibly receiving treatment at home. It was quite natural for medical personnel and researchers in the 1950s to take tissue samples from such patients, without much consideration of ethical issues. According to U.S. law, tissues or body parts left behind by patients after undergoing medical procedures or surgery do not belong to the patients but to the physicians or hospitals. Nevertheless, the availability of numerous medications today, most of which are credited to the immortal HeLa cells, would have been distant dreams without their robust growth capabilities. Even the polio vaccine might still be out of reach without their immense contribution. If you liked today's program, please don't forget to share it with your subscribers so that you won't miss out on more interesting history. See you in the next episode.